So today I'm going to talk about myself. A lot of times I get the question from people that I've recently met about my beliefs and my religion or lack of religion, or about my YouTube channel and what is a holos. And I know that in the past I've made videos about all these things, but sometimes I have to go back and re-explain things. And there's no way that I can really explain these concepts in a way that isn't condensed down, because it would just take too long. So let me take a whack at it. First of all, thank you for tuning in to Exploring the Holos. Make sure you like and subscribe. And this is a personal vlog. It used to be a travel channel, but recent events in my life and the economy have put that on hold. So I have no idea when there will be traveling. And another thing about this channel is there's usually dogs around that are walking around clicking their feet. Anyways, to begin, in the early 2000s, I had an epileptic seizure. And I believe, I could be wrong, it could have been a total hallucination, but I believe I had an out-of-body experience, which means I was viewing myself from outside. And this gave me a different perspective on reality than most people. And what this did for me is it made me question. I questioned not only my own religion, but it also made me question science and the nature of reality. So it made me very curious. And so I started searching, and I came across a few people who piqued my interest. One was Morg Official, and he had a YouTube channel where he went over various concepts, and they opened my eyes to things that, first of all, the things that they were saying on that channel resonated with the way that I felt. I began to watch it weekly. And also there were groups on Facebook who were writing about very similar concepts. And they called themselves the Pythagoreans, or the Pythagorean Illuminati, PI. And they would put out works of literature. And I believe one year I read 17 of their books in just 1 year. I believe nearly 35 altogether over the years. And I learned a lot from them. And it made sense because it was all logic. It's all logic and math based. Logic and reason. And that is what I was looking for. I'm not looking for a woo-woo magical explanation to reality. I'm looking for something that is logical and reasonable. And at that time, the PI, as they call themselves, and the Hyperion group was one. And then they had a falling out because I believe the PI got a little bit more like a secret society, and they were trying to keep certain people out. And Neogenianism was born, or the Neogenian group was born out of Hyperionism. And a lot has changed with that group, and I still consider myself a Neogenian. But overall, I would consider myself a meta-rational panentheist. That means that I believe in the rational explanation of reality, and I believe that we all are God. And I'd like to get into why. So, my understanding from what I've read and from the pilot wave explanation of quantum physics is that there is a frequency domain, and this is what you could call heaven. It is a domain of pure frequency, where there is no time and space. This is where the mind resides, or the soul, or the spirit. It is where we all are right now. It appears to you that you are your body, or you are in your body, but your mind is an entity of 0 dimensions. It has no length, width, height, or it occupies no space. So it is 0-dimensional. So it resides in the source domain, the frequency domain. The way this interacts with your body is a little fuzzy, a little bit, it's something that I haven't grasped yet. I think it may have something to do with frequency data that is stored within your DNA, but that's not a for sure thing. And I'm still a person who is questioning, but we know that the creation of matter, the space-time domain, or the holos, is a result from the minds of all of us, all of the mind together, creating these frequency waves, or yes, creating these waves. And when these waves interact, they become lower frequency waves. And the more they interact, the lower and lower their frequencies become, until they get to the point where they're solid matter. And this is how matter is created. And it takes no magic or any exterior, external being in a white beard. It only takes thought. So thought or light, together, these high frequency waves of light, when they are combined, they create lower frequency waves of matter. And this is Fourier mathematics, called the Fourier transform. And you can look that up. There are plenty of books on that you could read. It's a very complicated thing to explain. But there's also, if you look it up, there's also some diagrams that are a little bit helpful to kind of explain how this works. So as far as what I believe in the pilot wave explanation of quantum physics. That right there pretty much explains my idea of creation. And as far as the Neogenian, okay, so I figured out the audio problem. The base for the Ceramonic microphone receiver was not charging. So now I have it plugged in by the magic of a 10-foot long USB cable. And we're a little bit crooked here. After taking a little break, I was explaining the Neogenian system, or the Neogenian group. This is basically taking my beliefs of reality, the logic and reason explanation of reality, the meta-rational explanation, and applying it to making the world a better place. So it's not any kind of a magical woo-woo cult or anything. It's a system for implementing reason to make the world a better place and to make everyone freer and live a life of less struggle and suffering, because that's what it's all about. And to get a good explanation of what I believe, like a short concise explanation on what I believe, you'd have to read these books. This pretty much describes it. These books were written after I already believe what I believe. These just kind of encompass it. It's the whole Neogenian system kind of explained. But like I said, I read many books over the last probably 5 years. And with a little bit of philosophy and mathematics. And like I said, also the training I had in tech school for electronics and just kind of the non-answers they had with what science can understand right now. And the showing me that anything can be figured out with math. The power of math was unlocked for me. And I was never into math before that, but I was taught to use math as a tool to figure out anything. Every answer can be figured out if you know certain variables. And it taught me that there is no chaos, there is no randomness, there is only absolute certainty predicted by math. If you roll a dice, a lot of people disagree with this, but if you roll a dice, if all the variables are the same every time, the dice will land exactly the same every single time. The reason why they don't is because things change. The gravity, the speed of the roll, the air temperature, the air current, things like that. I mean, you could never roll a dice the same way because your body is not a robot, you know. So, yes, just everything that I have studied over the past 5 years and the experiences I had before that have led me to believe the way I believe. And as far as religion, I just never really fell for that kind of stuff. Some people do, and some people just never do. It's kind of the explanation I gave my dad. I said, you can't make somebody have faith or believe in something. I just never fell for that. So I tried really hard. I wanted to be a good Catholic boy, but I just could never fall for that. It just seemed like lies to me. And none of the Bible stories really made sense. So if you look into Gnostic scripture, that tends to make a little bit more sense to me. But even then, it's still metaphor. They're just trying to explain, things that they couldn't explain back then. And I don't think it was ever meant to be taken as literal. So, I hope that helps explain things for some of you. Again, if you want to get a better idea of what I'm talking about, go on Amazon and look up the Neogenian system. I'm sure after reading those books, you'll get it a little bit better. But by the time I read those books, I already knew all that stuff, pretty much. I didn't learn much from the books. It was kind of like a refresher course for me. I like the second book because the second book was more of the math stuff. And yeah. So there you have it. And this is my video for this week. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week. But take care. Stay safe. Ad Astra to the stars, my friends. Bye.